The night began with a strange stillness that did not match the storm brewing inside the house. And anyone who had followed Yandi and Mendeecees over the years could sense something was about to snap. Word had spread that Mendeecees had exchanged vows with Erica in a sudden private ceremony. And the news moved fast enough to rattle every corner of their circle. Fans were shocked, friends whispered behind doors. And the entire situation carried the uneasy feeling of a secret that had gone too far. Yandi heard it last, but when the truth reached her, it hit with the force of a betrayal she never imagined she would face. She stepped into the room where Mendeecees waited, not with anger at first, but with a confusion that weighed heavily on her expression. The silence felt sharp enough to cut through their history. Cameras, whispers and scattered voices faded behind her as she focused on him with eyes that held both disbelief and fear. "Mendeecees, tell me this is not real," she said. Her voice did not rise, yet it carried the strain of someone fighting to keep steady. He looked away, which only deepened the hurt gathering inside her. Rumors had already turned the internet into a wildfire. Fans argued through the night. Some claimed the marriage was a stunt meant to provoke Yandi. Others insisted Mendeecees had been planning it for months. Family members exchanged tense calls. Erica herself stayed silent, which made the speculation grow even faster. Inside the room, the tension shifted as Yandi stepped closer. "You married her. You actually married her. And you thought I would hear it from everyone else first." The words trembled against the edge of her breath, and for a moment Mendeecees had no defense. He only rubbed his hands together, as if trying to gather a response that would not make things worse. Emotions ran high around them. A distant door slammed. A producer whispered instructions that were ignored. Someone nearby murmured that this scene would break the internet, but none of that mattered to Yandi. She had spent years fighting for this family, raising their children, carrying their challenges, and standing firm even when the world tried to pull them apart. To hear that he had made this choice behind her back left her shaken in a way nothing else had. When she finally spoke again, her voice cracked. "After everything we built, you gave someone else what you told me belonged only to us." The accusation filled the room with a raw heaviness. Mendeecees tried to reach for her hand, but she stepped back, with tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. She was not angry yet, she was hurt, and that pain created a deeper impact than any argument could. Outside the door, the family was left divided. Some believed Mendeecees had been pushed into a corner. Others wondered whether Yandi would walk away forever. Every second felt unpredictable, and the air carried the weight of a story that had only begun to unfold. The house felt unsteady from the moment Yandi walked in, as if the walls already knew the truth she was trying not to believe. And her steps carried the weight of a woman pushed past her limit. The whispers she had heard all day kept circling in her mind, each one sharper than the last, claiming that Mendeecees had done the unthinkable. She had pushed the rumors away at first, telling herself people online loved stirring chaos, but every message, every call, every shocked reaction grew too consistent to ignore. When she finally confronted one of her closest friends, the look on their face told her everything. The world already knew. She was the only one left in the dark. It made her chest tighten with a kind of pain that felt personal, almost humiliating. Because she had defended him through storms that would have broken most couples, now she was walking toward him with a heartbreak she could barely contain. And the cameras pressed in with a hunger for drama that made the moment feel even heavier. Mendeecees stood in the living room with his hands on his hips, pacing a little, as if bracing himself for a conversation he hoped would never come. When he looked up and saw her, he froze. Yandi paused in the doorway, her eyes already glassy, her breath shaky, and Mendeecees knew immediately she had heard the truth. The silence between them grew thick, filled with everything they had not said over the years, everything they had survived, and everything he had hidden. She stepped closer, forcing herself not to break before she could even speak. "Mendeecees," she said, her voice firm but trembling underneath, "tell me it's a lie. Tell me you didn't do this. Tell me you didn't marry Erica." The name Erica lingered in the air like a bitter taste, and Mendeecees lowered his gaze, unable to meet her eyes. Outside, the crew whispered among themselves, knowing this confrontation would explode online. Fans were already posting their reactions, claiming they saw this coming, claiming the energy between Mendeecees and Erica had always been suspicious, claiming Yandi deserved better. Others defended him, insisting the whole thing was staged or exaggerated. The entire situation had turned into a spectacle before Yandi herself even had time to process the betrayal. And now, standing in front of him, she felt the pressure of everyone watching, everyone waiting. But none of that mattered compared to the sting of his silence. She moved closer until she stood directly in front of him. "Look at me," she said quietly. "I want to hear it from your mouth, not from social media, not from producers, not from strangers laughing about my life. Mendeecees inhaled slowly, struggling to find words. Yandi, he said, it wasn't what it looks like. But that answer only made her laugh in disbelief, a hollow sound that broke under the weight of her hurt. Then what is it? You wear a suit. She wears a dress. Someone pronounces you husband and wife. That seems pretty clear to me. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not yet. She wanted to understand before she broke down. Mendeecees ran a hand over his face, frustrated with himself and with the situation spiraling around them. I didn't plan it. Things got complicated. You don't understand the conversations that were happening behind the scenes. Her forehead tightened as she listened. So you're telling me there were conversations behind the scenes about you marrying Erica? Conversations you didn't think I needed to know about? The room suddenly felt smaller, the air warmer, as if the tension itself was pressing against them. A door opened down the hallway, and one of their kids peeked out before being gently guided back inside by a family member. Yandy's eyes followed the movement, and the sight of her child reminded her of everything she had fought for, everything she had protected. Do you know what this does to our family? She asked, her voice softer now but deeper with emotion. Do you know what this does to me? Mendeecees stepped forward, trying once again to reach for her hands, but she pulled them back with a sharp breath. She could not let him touch her, not while the truth still hung between them like a wound left open. His voice dropped to a low murmur. I didn't want you to find out like this. She shook her head, stunned. How was I supposed to find out? Were you planning to tell me after the honeymoon? After the headlines died down? Tell me what your plan was, because right now it looks like you planned nothing, except hurting me. She took a step back, but her eyes stayed locked on him. Her heart raced, and her chest felt tight, but she held herself together with a strength she had learned long ago. She had always been the one who stayed grounded, the one who fought through every obstacle with dignity. But today, dignity felt like a slippery thing, hard to hold on to when the person she trusted most had betrayed her. He finally spoke again. I didn't love her. It wasn't about that. She blinked, confused. So you marry women you don't love? That's even worse. Mendeecees. He shook his head quickly, trying to explain. There were legal issues, pressure, people talking about deals and negotiations. It got messy. I made a mistake. She stared at him, her chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is missing a meeting. You don't accidentally marry someone, Mendeecees. You make a choice. You stood there and made a choice that had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with our family. The tension outside the room continued to build as relatives whispered, trying to decide whether they should walk in or stay out of it. Erica's name kept floating through the conversations, causing even more division. Some insisted Erica had manipulated the situation. Others believed Mendeecees had acted on impulse. Either way, the fallout rippled through everyone connected to them. Inside the room, Yandy's voice softened, but the pain became sharper. After everything I held down for us while you were gone, after everything I carried on my shoulders, you still did this behind my back. You didn't trust me with the truth. You didn't trust me with the mess. You didn't trust me enough to say no. She pressed her hand against her chest, feeling her heartbeat thudding hard. You know what hurts the most? You made a promise to me that we would never keep secrets like this. We survived too much for you to fall into something so reckless. Mendeecees stepped toward her again, but this time she did not move. She stood their ground even as her eyes filled. Yandi, I swear I didn't mean for it to go this far. She let out a tired breath. It went far enough for you to be someone. Out a tired breath. It went far enough for you to be someone else's husband. The word husband came out heavy, breaking on her tongue as she finally looked away from him. Before he could answer, the door behind her cracked open and a familiar voice said softly, Yandi, do you need a minute? It was a friend, her face full of concern. But Yandi raised one finger, asking her to wait. She needed to finish this moment. She needed to look at Mendeecees one more time and ask the question burning inside her. Tell me something, she whispered. When you stood there with her, when they asked if you take Erica as your wife, did you think about me? Even for 1 second. The silence stretched longer than either of them expected, thick and heavy, almost suffocating, until Mendeecees finally swallowed hard and looked Yandi directly in the eyes. I thought about you, he admitted, his voice low, almost a whisper. But the words did little to ease the storm raging inside her. Yandi shook her head slowly, letting a single tear escape and trace down her cheek. If you thought about me, she said softly, but with a venom she could not hide. Then why? Why would you stand there and say vows to her, like mine meant nothing? He stepped closer, reaching for her, but she recoiled, her eyes wide, trembling. Yandi, I wasn't ready. I didn't know how to handle everything, he said, his words stumbling out like they might break him more than they were breaking her. Everything. Everything? She echoed, her voice rising. Everything included me, Mendeecees. The life we built. The kids we raised. The promises we made. All of that meant nothing when it came to her. He closed his eyes, groaning, trying to find a bridge through the chaos. It wasn't like that. You have to believe me. I didn't love her like that. It was complicated. She laughed bitterly, a hollow, dangerous sound. You call betrayal complicated? She shook her head, stepping back, her fingers clenching into fists. Fans are shocked. Mendeecees, everyone is shocked. The family is divided. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Her voice broke and then hardened. And now, I have to look at you, the man I trusted more than anyone in this world, and realize that trust is gone. Outside the room, whispers turned into murmurs as relatives tried to piece together the fallout. One cousin muttered, I told you this would happen. He's always too soft when it comes to drama. Another shook their head, muttering about Erica, about timing, about the lies. Everyone had an opinion, and the internet had already exploded. Screenshots of cryptic posts, fans speculating about the real reason Mendeecees married Erica, were circulating fast. They talked about secret meetings, late-night calls, a rushed wedding no one was invited to. Some fans accused Erica of manipulation, others accused Mendeecees of weakness. And through it all, Yandi was standing there, her heart breaking and yet burning with a fire that no one could see. I don't understand why you couldn't tell me, she said, her voice trembling with rage and sorrow. I deserved the truth. I deserved to know before everyone else. You've spent years making me believe that honesty is everything between us. And then, this. She gestured toward the wedding photo he had left on the table. The one showing him and Erica smiling like nothing had ever existed between them. Her hands shook as she picked it up, her eyes scanning every detail, every lie hidden in plain sight. Does she know what she's done? Does she understand that she's stepping into a world she will never truly belong in? Because this, she said, lifting the photo higher, this is chaos. This is betrayal. And you, she let the word hang, heavy in the room. Mendeecees ran a hand through his hair, exasperated. Yandi, I thought I was protecting you. I thought if I handled it quietly, no one would get hurt. She laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that echoed in the small room. Protecting me? You think marrying someone else is protection? Do you know what protection looks like, Mendeecees? It looks like telling the truth. It looks like standing with me, not against me. It looks like being a man I can trust with my life. Not someone who makes choices that rip my heart out while pretending it's for my benefit. For a moment, he went silent. The weight of her words pressed down on him. He wanted to speak, to explain, to apologize, but the words caught in his throat. He could feel the tension in her body, the trembling, the tears, the fury, and the room seemed to shrink. The cameras outside captured every moment, every twitch of emotion, but to Yandi none of that mattered. All she felt was the raw, aching reality of betrayal. Do you even understand what this does to the kids? She asked finally, her voice cracking. Do you understand that they see you with her? That they hear people talking about it? That they feel torn? That their mother is crying over the father they once knew? Mendeecees' eyes softened, guilt spreading across his face. He wanted to hug her, to fix it, to take back every wrong move, but she stepped back again, putting distance between them. Yandi, I didn't think about that enough, he admitted. I see it now. I see everything. But it was too late. The words had lost their power to heal. She turned slightly, not fully leaving, but giving herself a space to breathe, to gather strength. I can't even look at you the same way, she whispered. Every memory, every plan we made, every fight we survived, it's all clouded now. Clouded by her, by what you chose. Do you even feel the weight of this, Mendeecees? He nodded slowly, but his eyes dropped, shame overtaking any defense he might have built. I do. I feel it every second. She shook her head and walked toward the window, looking out at the yard, at the children playing unaware, at a life that suddenly seemed fragile and broken. She could hear the faint murmurs of staff and crew outside, could imagine the social media storm waiting for this moment to be released. And yet, all of that paled in comparison to the private storm raging in her chest. You know, she said, finally, voice barely audible. I don't even know who you are anymore. The man I knew, the one I loved, he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't betray me like this. She felt the tears falling now, unstoppable, but she refused to wipe them away. She let them fall, a symbol of the grief, the anger, the disbelief she carried. And she, Erica, she thinks she's winning. She thinks this is some kind of fairy tale. She has no idea what she's stepped into. She has no idea what she's destroyed. Mendeecees reached out again, and she shook her head, stepping back, feeling the sting of every choice, every secret, every lie. The tension stretched on, neither speaking for a long moment, until the quiet was broken by the sound of a phone vibrating. A family member's call. A message notification, maybe the first flood of fans reacting to leaked hints. Yandi ignored it, focusing solely on him, on the betrayal, on the jagged edges of her heart. "Do you know what it feels like?" she asked quietly. "To see the person you trusted more than anyone in the world, smiling at someone else, while pretending you didn't just rip everything apart. Do you understand the weight of that?" He opened his mouth, then closed it, finally nodding. He knew the answer, and she knew he knew. There were no excuses left. Her voice dropped to a whisper, trembling, almost a plea. "I don't know if we can come back from this. I don't know if I can forgive this. I don't know if I even want to try." Mendeecees took a step forward, desperate, trying to catch her gaze, to connect, to save what was left. "Yandi, please, I'm begging you. Don't give up on us yet." She shook her head slowly, the tears streaming freely now. "I don't know, Mendeecees. I don't know." And with that, she turned, walking toward the staircase, pausing briefly to glance back, her expression a mixture of anger, hurt, and heartbreak. He remained behind, frozen, realizing that the moment had changed everything. The family, the fans, the friends, all of them would feel the ripple effects, and the storm was only beginning. The murmurs outside grew louder, whispers of the confrontation spreading, reactions flooding social media, yet none of it mattered to either of them now. Yandi's mind replayed every memory, every promise, every fight they had faced together, and the shadow of Erica's sudden, invasive presence hovered over every thought. He wanted to explain, to justify, to mend, but she had stepped into a space he could not reach yet. The house felt colder, the air thicker, and the weight of choices pressed down like a wall. As she reached the top of the staircase, she paused, her hand on the railing, looking down at him. "I need time," she said softly, almost to herself. "I need to understand if this is even worth fighting for." Mendeecees nodded silently, knowing he had crossed a line that could not be undone. And in that room, under the glare of cameras, the eyes of family, and the judgment of fans, a quiet, tense anticipation lingered. What would happen next? Who would step in? How far would the consequences spread? The tension was far from over, and as the cameras clicked and whispered voices floated in the hallway, one thing was clear. The drama was just beginning, and neither Yandi nor Mendeecees would ever see their life the same way again. Yandi lingered at the top of the staircase, her hand still gripping the railing, feeling the weight of the entire household pressing down on her. Each step she had taken today had led her here, to a moment she never thought she would face. And now, staring down at Mendeecees, the man she had trusted with everything, she felt the raw sting of betrayal in every fiber of her being. The silence stretched between them, unbroken, heavy with words unsaid, apologies withheld, and truths too painful to voice. The cameras outside had stopped clicking, the crew sensing the tension but giving them space. And even the distant laughter of the children seemed muted, swallowed by the storm brewing in the room below. She let out a long breath, trying to steady herself, trying to find some sense of clarity. But the images of the wedding, of the vows, of the smile on Erica's face kept flashing in her mind like a relentless reminder of what had been stolen from her. "Mendeecees," she called softly, her voice carrying down the staircase, trembling yet resolute. He looked up immediately, his eyes pleading, searching for any sign of forgiveness. But she could give him none. "I need you to understand something," she continued, her words measured, but each syllable sharp with the pain she could no longer hide. "This isn't just about you marrying her. This is about every moment you chose her over me. Every secret meeting, every whispered lie, every glance you gave her that you used to give me. Do you understand what that does to me, to the family, to our life?" He swallowed hard, his throat tight, and nodded slowly, unable to form the words that might begin to undo the damage. "I see it," he said finally, his voice small, almost a whisper. "I know I messed up." She shook her head, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. Messed up, Mendeecees, this isn't a small mistake. This is everything. This is years of trust, of love, of sacrifice, all ripped apart in the blink of an eye. Do you even realize the ripple effect of this? Fans are shocked. The family is divided. Friends are whispering. And here I am, left to pick up the pieces of a life I thought we built together. She paused, her eyes welling with tears again, her chest heaving with the weight of it all. "And the worst part," she added, her voice cracking, "is that you stood there and smiled at her. At her, Mendeecees. How do you explain that? How do you justify that to me? To yourself? To anyone?" He took a step forward, desperate, his voice rising with emotion. "Yandi, I didn't love her. I swear, I didn't. I was confused. I didn't know what to do, and I made a mistake. It wasn't supposed to hurt you like this. I never wanted this to happen." She shook her head violently, stepping back, her hands clenching into fists. "Confused. A mistake. Mendeecees, you made a choice. You chose her over everything we had. That's not confusion. That's betrayal. That's intentional. And you can't just hide behind words like that and expect me to forgive you." The air in the room felt electric, charged with tension and emotion, each heartbeat pounding like a drum in the silence. Outside, faint whispers floated in through the walls. Relatives and crew members, sensing the drama but unwilling to intrude. Social media had already exploded with rumors, speculation, and screenshots of cryptic posts. But Yandi and Mendeecees were locked in a private storm that the world could only observe from afar. She felt the sting of eyes, watching, waiting, judging, but she refused to let it sway her. This was her confrontation, her pain, her truth to process. "Do you even understand what this does to the kids?" she asked, her voice dropping to a whisper now, heavy with emotion. "They see you with her. They hear people talking about it. They feel torn. They see their mother broken and their father smiling at someone else. Do you understand the weight of that?" He closed his eyes, guilt washing over him like a tidal wave. "I didn't think about that," he admitted, his voice small and trembling. "I see it now. I feel it now." She shook her head slowly, taking a step toward him, her tears falling freely. "Seeing it isn't enough. Mendeecees, feeling it isn't enough. This is reality now. This is our life. Our family is in pieces, and you're standing there trying to explain it away." He reached out, almost instinctively, as if touching her could somehow mend the irreparable. She flinched, stepping back again. "Don't," she whispered, her voice raw. "Don't touch me. Not until you understand. Not until you realize the damage done. Every smile, every secret, every lie has consequences. Do you understand that?" He nodded, swallowing hard, his hand dropping to his side. "I understand," he said quietly. "I understand more than you know." Yandi turned her gaze away, looking out the window at the yard where the children played, oblivious to the storm inside. Memories of laughter, birthdays, fights, reconciliations, all of it felt tainted now. She felt the betrayal in her chest, sharp and unrelenting. She thought of the years she had devoted, the sacrifices she had made, the nights she stayed awake worrying, supporting, loving, and building a life that now seemed shattered. "And what about Erica?" she asked finally, her voice biting. "Does she understand what she's stepped into? Does she understand that she's not just marrying a man, but stepping into a family, into a history, into a life she can't just take over?" He sighed deeply, shame written across his face. "I don't know if she does. I tried to tell her, it's complicated. I tried to explain it, but..." He trailed off, words failing him. She shook her head, taking another step back, letting the tears fall freely now, the sobs breaking through as the weight of the betrayal finally crashed over her. "You don't get it, Mendeecees. You don't. Nothing about this is simple. Nothing about this is fair. Nothing about this can be fixed with words alone." The tension between them remained thick, unbroken, the room almost suffocating with the rawness of emotion. Each second stretched into eternity as Yandi fought to breathe, to steady herself, to hold on to some shred of composure. Mendeecees stood frozen, regret etched into every line of his face, understanding that no explanation, no apology, no excuse could erase what had been done. He had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, and the consequences would ripple through their family, their friends, and the fans who watched every move, every glance, every tear. "I don't know if I can forgive this," Yandi said finally, her voice a low, haunted whisper. "I don't know if I can trust you again. I don't know if I even want to try." He nodded slowly, the weight of her words sinking in. "I'll do whatever it takes," he said quietly. "I'll wait. I'll prove myself. I'll fix it if I can." She shook her head slowly, a tear sliding down her cheek. Some things, once broken, never fully mend, Mendeecees. And this may be one of them. The room was silent for a long moment, the only sound the faint hum of the air conditioning and the distant murmur of voices from outside. Yandi finally turned away completely, retreating further down the staircase, her body tense, her mind racing with the implications of this revelation. She paused at the landing, glancing back one last time at him, a mixture of heartbreak, anger, and disbelief etched on her face. I need space, she said softly, almost to herself. I need time. I need to figure out if this life we built can survive the truth you chose to hide from me. Mendeecees remained where he stood, his chest tight, eyes locked on her retreating figure, understanding for the first time the depth of the damage his choices had caused. The house, the family, the fans, the friends all were waiting for what came next. But in that moment, it was just the two of them, suspended in the tension of a betrayal that would not soon be forgotten. The storm was far from over, and the not soon be forgotten. The storm was far from over. Next moves, the next words, the next confrontations, were yet to unfold, each carrying the potential to change their lives forever. Yandi finally stepped away from the staircase, her body still trembling, her mind racing with the chaos that had erupted in the room below. The house felt heavy, weighed down by the tension, the whispers, and the invisible eyes of everyone waiting to see what would happen next. She moved slowly, as if every step was a negotiation with herself, trying to decide whether she could face the aftermath of what had just occurred. Down the hallway, relatives and friends exchanged nervous glances, some whispering hurriedly, others standing frozen, unsure whether to intervene or give her the space she clearly needed. The air was thick with unspoken questions, all pointing to one undeniable fact: the family was fractured, and the fallout from Mendeecees' actions was only beginning. Yandi, a familiar voice called softly from the kitchen, trying to reach her without pushing too hard. She didn't respond immediately, keeping her head down, letting the tears fall freely as she navigated the hall. She knew everyone was watching, everyone wanted a piece of the drama, but for her, it wasn't about the spectacle, it was about survival. About holding herself together in the wake of a betrayal that cut deeper than she had ever imagined. The sound of her children playing faintly in the distance hit her chest with an ache so sharp it made her stumble slightly, and she paused, taking a long, shaky breath, fighting to keep her composure. Every memory of laughter, of family dinners, of moments shared with Mendeecees now felt tainted by the knowledge of what he had done. Erica's name kept echoing in her mind, a constant reminder of the intrusion, the audacity, the destruction of everything Yandi had built. She imagined Erica smiling in her wedding photos, the way she had stood beside Mendeecees while the vows were spoken, and the image ignited a fire in Yandi's chest. Does she even realize? Yandi whispered under her breath, her voice trembling but firm. Does she understand the chaos she stepped into? Does she know the war she's about to fight for a place that isn't truly hers? The thought of Erica attempting to insert herself into the family, into the history, into a life she had no claim to, made her chest tighten. The combination of anger and sorrow almost unbearable. She heard Mendeecees behind her, stepping cautiously, trying to close the distance, his voice hesitant. Yandi, please, She cut him off with a sharp gesture, her eyes flashing with fury. Don't, not yet. I can't even look at you the same way. Every word you speak right now is just noise. You stood there. You made vows to her. You smiled. You promised her what was never yours to give. She paused, taking a breath, letting the weight of her words hang in the air. And the family Mendeecees, the family is watching. The friends are watching. The fans are watching. Do you realize how many eyes are on us right now? Judging, speculating, tearing us apart. He stepped closer, his hands slightly raised in surrender. I know, Yandi, I see it, I feel it, and I'm so sorry. She laughed bitterly, shaking her head. Sorry. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. Sorry doesn't undo the choices you made. Sorry doesn't stop the world from watching as our life crumbles. Outside the room, the whispers had grown louder. Relatives argued quietly among themselves, some pointing fingers, others exchanging sympathetic looks. One cousin muttered about the audacity of Erica, another about the recklessness of Mendeecees. Staff members shared hushed comments, speculating about the social media storm that was sure to follow. Screenshots, messages, and posts were already circulating online, the drama growing before anyone had even had a chance to respond. The house had become a theater of tension, each hallway, each room filled with eyes and ears, all waiting for the next move, the next word, the next outburst. Yandi's mind raced as she tried to piece together the emotional wreckage. She thought of the children, of what they had to witness, of how they would navigate a world suddenly dominated by betrayal and secrets. Do you even understand what this does to them? She asked, her voice trembling now, fragile yet cutting through the thick air. Do you see how they feel? Do you see the confusion, the hurt? You think this is just about you and Erica, but it's bigger than that. It's about the lives we built, the foundation we created, and you," she stopped. Fighting to steady her breath, "You just shattered it." Mendeecees' face fell, guilt written across every line. He wanted to reach out, to embrace her, to apologize again, but she stepped back, holding herself together with the last shreds of strength. "I don't even know if I can forgive this," she said softly, almost a whisper, tears rolling freely now. "I don't know if trust can survive. I don't know if I even want to try." He nodded, swallowing hard, the weight of her words pressing on him. "I'll do whatever it takes," he said quietly. "I'll wait. I'll prove myself. I'll fix it if I can." She shook her head slowly, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. "Some things, once broken, never fully mend, Mendeecees, and this may be one of them." The room fell into a tense silence again, each person holding their breath, waiting for a break in the tension. Yandi wiped her face with the back of her hand, glancing briefly at the children who were still unaware, playing quietly in the distance. Her body ached with the effort of holding herself together, her mind spinning with questions, doubts, and fears. She thought of the life she had imagined, the future she had planned, and the sudden intrusion of Erica's presence, a shadow over every dream she had. "And what about her?" Yandi asked finally, her voice hard, deliberate, venom wrapped in every word. "Does she even realize what she's stepped into? Does she know the storm she's walking into? The war she's inheriting? Does she know that nothing in this family will ever bend easily to her will?" Mendeecees closed his eyes, frustration and shame washing over him. "I tried to explain it. I tried to warn her. I tried to tell her it's complicated, but..." He trailed off, words failing him again. She shook her head slowly, tears continuing to fall, the sobs breaking through as she felt the full weight of betrayal. "You don't get it, Mendeecees. Nothing about this is simple. Nothing about this is fair. Nothing about this can be fixed with words alone." He stood frozen, guilt pressing down on him like a physical weight. Each word from Yandi pierced him, echoing the consequences of choices he had made. The cameras outside captured everything, yet none of that mattered. This was personal, intimate, raw. The house was charged with emotion. Every glance, every pause, every tear magnified in the silence. The storm between them was far from over, and each second stretched into eternity as Yandi fought to breathe, to steady herself, to survive the tidal wave of emotion crashing over her. Finally, she turned toward the staircase again, her body stiff, her mind racing. "I need time," she said softly, almost to herself, each word heavy with sorrow, anger, and heartbreak. "I need space. I need to figure out if this life we built can survive the truth you chose to hide from me." Mendeecees watched her go, understanding that the moment had changed everything. The family, the friends, the fans all would feel the consequences. But at that moment, it was just the two of them suspended in the aftermath of a betrayal that would not soon be forgotten. The whispers grew louder in the hall. Social media would soon explode, and the storm was far from over. Every move, every word, every glance from here on would carry the weight of what had just happened. And both Yandi and Mendeecees knew that. The next chapter in their story would be the hardest yet. The tension in the house escalated quickly as Yandi retreated to a quiet corner, trying to catch her breath and steady the whirlwind of emotions threatening to overtake her. Every step she had taken, every word she had spoken to Mendeecees, seemed to ripple outward, touching every member of the family and sending them into hushed debates. Relatives whispered in corners, some openly taking sides, others unsure where to place themselves in the growing storm. "This is worse than anyone imagined," one aunt murmured, shaking her head. "I never thought it would come to this," another cousin whispered back. "He's ruined everything. Marrying her was a mistake. The family will never recover if this continues." Outside the room, the faint hum of phones and cameras captured snippets of these conversations, ready to explode into the social media frenzy that awaited. But inside, it was raw, immediate, and painfully intimate. Erica, unaware of the full scope of the emotional wreckage, stepped into the house, her entrance confident, almost gleaming with the pride of someone who had just claimed a victory she thought she had earned. She paused at the threshold of the main room, taking in the scattered whispers, the stiff postures, the subtle glances directed at her. She had been warned that Yandi was upset, that Mendeecees' family might be fractured, but nothing had prepared her for the palpable tension that seemed to press down on her chest. She called out softly, attempting to bridge the distance with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say hello. I didn't mean to cause any upset." The room remained frozen, the silence almost deafening, and Yandi's presence at the far end of the hall made that silence heavier. Yandi's eyes snapped to Erica, a mix of fury, disbelief, and exhaustion flashing across her face. "Hello," she said, her voice tight, trembling with restrained emotion. "Did you really think this would be simple? Did you think entering this family, stepping into this life, would be easy?" Erica's smile faltered, her confidence wavering for a fraction of a second. "Yandi, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just..." She trailed off, unsure how to navigate the storm she had unwittingly stepped into. "Just what?" Yandi asked, taking a slow, deliberate step toward her, tears welling in her eyes, but voice sharp and controlled. "Just decide to marry a man who wasn't yours to claim." The words hit hard, slicing through the room like a knife. Mendeecees stepped between them, his hands raised slightly in a gesture meant to calm, but only adding to the tension. "Yandi, please. This isn't about her. This is about us figuring things out." Yandi shook her head violently. "No, Mendeecees, it's about you. It's about every choice you made that led her here. It's about trust shattered, hearts broken, families divided." Erica's face flushed with embarrassment and a hint of anger, her initial confidence fading. "I didn't ask for any of this," she said softly, almost defensively. "I didn't plan for anyone to be hurt." Yandi's laugh was bitter, a sound that echoed off the walls. "Hurt barely scratches the surface. This is devastation, Erica. This is a life torn apart by choices you were lucky enough to be part of, but lucky is not the same as welcome." Outside the room, whispers had turned into low murmurs, of arguments, cousins and aunts and friends debating who was at fault, who had misled whom, and what the fallout would be. Social media alerts were buzzing, messages from fans speculating about every move, every glance, every silence, screenshots of cryptic posts, wedding photos, and subtle gestures from previous gatherings were being analyzed, dissected, and shared. The family members felt the pressure mounting, aware that their private conflict was becoming a public spectacle faster than anyone could contain it. Yandi turned her attention back to Mendeecees, her voice trembling yet fierce. "Do you even see what you've done? Do you understand the destruction you've caused?" He nodded, guilt etched deep into every line of his face. "I do. I see it. I feel it. I'm so sorry, Yandi." She shook her head slowly, her tears flowing freely. "Sorry doesn't fix anything, Mendeecees. Not now. Not ever. You've crossed a line that may never be repaired." Erica, standing nearby, tried to interject, but Yandi's gaze snapped toward her, halting the words before they left her lips. "And you," Yandi said, her voice cutting through the air. "You need to understand that stepping into this family is not like stepping into a fairy tale. You are not a hero here. You are not the one who wins. You are the one who walks into a storm you did not prepare for, and the damage is already done." Erica's composure faltered further, the first real cracks appearing in her carefully curated facade. I just thought," she began, voice low, uncertain. "Thought what?" Yandi pressed, her eyes blazing. "That love could justify deceit. That vows spoken to someone else could erase the years of promises made to me. That smiles and ceremonies could replace loyalty and truth." Erica faltered again, swallowing hard, the weight of reality pressing down on her in ways she had not anticipated. Mendeecees tried once more to calm the situation, stepping closer to Yandi. "Please, Yandi, let's just..." She cut him off, sharply. "No, don't speak. Not until this is understood, not until the truth is seen and felt. You have to live with what you've done, Mendeecees and Erica. You have to live with what you stepped into." The room felt electric with tension, every heartbeat amplified, every glance and gesture scrutinized by those watching, by the family, by the friends, and by the invisible audience following every unfolding moment online. As the confrontation continued, whispers of the children playing outside reached their ears. Faint but persistent, a reminder of what was truly at stake. Yandi's chest tightened as she thought of the impact on them. The confusion, the hurt, the questions they would inevitably have. "This isn't just about us," she said finally, voice breaking. "It's about the lives connected to ours, the hearts that look up to us and trust us. And we've all failed them in a way that cannot be undone quickly or easily." Mendeecees' face paled, the weight of her words sinking in fully for the first time. Erica's hands trembled slightly, her confidence all but vanished, replaced with the stark realization that the world she had stepped into was far more complicated and treacherous than she had ever imagined. The family, divided and raw with emotion, watched silently, unsure of how to intervene without adding fuel to the fire. The tension in the room stretched on, thick and suffocating. Every second a reminder that the drama was far from over and that the coming days, weeks and months would be defined by the choices made in that very moment. Yandi took a final step back, her body trembling but her voice resolute. "I need time," she said softly, almost a whisper, yet every ear in the room seemed to catch the gravity of the words. "Time to process, time to heal, time to decide if any of this can survive." She turned away, heading toward the quiet of her own space, leaving Mendeecees and Erica standing amidst the lingering storm, the echoes of their confrontation reverberating through the house, through the family, and through every mind now aware of the chaos that had erupted. The house had quieted in the immediate aftermath, but the storm outside and within the walls was far from over. Yandi retreated to her bedroom, closing the door with a soft click, the sound reverberating through the house like the final note of a symphony gone wrong. She sank onto the edge of the bed, her body heavy, her mind swirling with the events that had just unfolded. Tears streamed freely, her sobs racking her body as the realization of the family's division pressed down on her like a physical weight. She thought of the children, of the friends who had witnessed only fragments, of the relatives caught in the crossfire of loyalties and secrets. The house felt smaller, suffocating, every room a reminder of what had been lost and what could never be fully repaired. Downstairs, Mendeecees paced, replaying every word Yandi had spoken, every glance, every tear, every accusation. The magnitude of what he had done was sinking in more deeply than ever, and with it came a bitter recognition that nothing could be undone simply with apologies. He thought of Erica, who now sat quietly in the living room, her posture rigid, eyes wide, caught between fear, guilt, and frustration. The realization that she was as unprepared for this reality as he was, hit him like a wave. He had made promises, choices, and mistakes, and now everyone was paying the price, including those who had the least say in the chaos: the children, the family, and even friends who had come seeking joy but found only tension. Erica finally broke the silence, her voice tentative but forced into a semblance of confidence. "Mendeecees, I didn't know it would be like this. I thought I was stepping into something happy. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Mendeecees closed his eyes, running a hand through his hair, the guilt almost unbearable. "I know," he said quietly. "None of this was supposed to happen, but it did, and now we have to deal with it." Erica nodded slowly, the weight of the truth settling over her, the facade of control slipping as she realized the magnitude of the emotional battlefield she had entered. "What do we do now?" she asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Back upstairs, Yandi wrestled with her thoughts, replaying moments, second-guessing every reaction, every choice she had made. Anger and sorrow warred within her, creating a storm more chaotic than any she had ever experienced. She thought of Mendeecees' promises, Erica's presence, the family's whispers, and the relentless scrutiny of fans online. Every post, every comment, every like felt like a needle, a reminder that the world was watching as her life unraveled. Her phone buzzed repeatedly, messages from relatives, friends, even fans, but she ignored them all, needing space to breathe, to feel, and to process the betrayal she had just endured. The family gathered slowly downstairs, conversations fractured and tentative, every glance and gesture layered with suspicion and hurt. One cousin spoke in low tones about how reckless the decision had been, while an aunt countered, insisting that Erica had not meant harm. Mendeecees remained silent, the weight of his choices pressing on him from all sides. Erica sat quietly, listening, realizing that winning the battle of marriage did not equate to peace or acceptance. The social dynamics of the family had shifted irrevocably, and both she and Mendeecees now had to navigate the treacherous waters of resentment, hurt, and judgment. Yandi's voice broke through the whispers, firm and cold, carrying the weight of her decision. "We can't go back," she said softly, yet with undeniable authority. "The trust is broken. The family is divided. Nothing will ever be the same, and anyone thinking that a smile or a ceremony can fix it is sorely mistaken." Her words hung in the air, heavy and unyielding, each syllable a reminder of the irreversible consequences of betrayal. The room grew quieter, the chatter ceasing as everyone realized that the gravity of the moment had been fully captured in Yandi's statement. Outside, the faint hum of notifications continued, the world watching, speculating, and reacting. Screenshots of the confrontation, comments from fans, and posts dissecting every word circulated online at a relentless pace. The narrative of betrayal, confrontation, and heartbreak spread like wildfire, amplifying the pressure on everyone involved. Every glance, every whisper, every sigh within the house now carried the invisible weight of public judgment, further complicating the already volatile situation. Yandi sat quietly, finally lifting her head, her mind a mixture of determination and heartbreak. She knew she had to make choices for herself, for her children, and for her own sense of dignity. She thought of Mendeecees and Erica, of the family, of the whispers and the chaos, and realized that the next steps would define the rest of their lives. The confrontation was over, but the fallout had only just begun. She would need strength, clarity, and courage to navigate the days ahead, and to determine if any semblance of normalcy could be reclaimed from the wreckage left behind. Mendeecees, standing in the living room, felt the enormity of the consequences pressing down on him. Every glance toward Yandi, every look at Erica, was a reminder that actions had irreversible consequences. The division among the family, the whispers of friends, and the eyes of fans online created a pressure that was almost unbearable. He had wanted to choose love, to pursue what he thought was happiness, but now he realized that happiness at the expense of loyalty, trust, and family could never truly exist. The weight of regret settled heavily on his shoulders, and the long road of rebuilding, if even possible, stretched endlessly before him. Erica finally spoke again, her voice quiet but sincere. I don't know how to fix this," she admitted. "I didn't ask for it to be like this." Mendeecees nodded, his jaw tight, understanding that apologies alone could not mend the fractured lives around them. Yandi, upstairs, remained silent, her mind focused on protecting herself and her children, and on determining if forgiveness was even possible. The house, divided and tense, became a microcosm of the larger emotional battlefield that had been unleashed. Each family member navigating their own pain, loyalty, and fear. As night fell, the weight of the confrontation and its aftermath pressed down on everyone. The conversation slowed, whispers faded, and a tense quiet settled over the house. But the reality was undeniable. Nothing would ever be the same. The choices made, the confrontations endured, and the betrayals revealed had created a permanent shift, leaving a family divided, hearts broken, and an emotional landscape that would take months, if not years, to navigate. The storm had passed, but the aftermath lingered, heavy, suffocating, and unrelenting, leaving every member of the household to face the consequences of what had just occurred.